So how can you grow your online or even your offline business with video without spending a fortune on equipment? In this video, I'm gonna be sharing my favorite pieces of affordable video gear plus my 4-step video formula coming up. Hey, Sean here with Think Media, bringing you the best tips and tools for building your influence with online video. And on this channel, we do a lot of tech gear reviews, plus tips and strategy videos just like this one. So if you're new here, consider subscribing. So I recently spoke at a conference to business owners all about how to grow your business using online video without breaking the bank. And I wanted to just share that entire session with you right here on Think Media. And so it's a deep dive, and in this session, you're gonna learn a few things. This training covers my favorite budget tools for video, my 4-step video production formula, 4 practical ways any business can grow using online video, and I also talk about how to get my personal YouTube checklist for completely free. And by the way, at any point during the video, you can check out show notes and links in the description below. I'll list out all of the various things I talk about, as well as the gear, so you can reference any of that in the YouTube description at any time. Well, let's jump into the training right now. In fact, I want to kind of just go through a few stats to sort of paint a picture of how significant really online video is right now, and kind of the internet in general, like the time that we're living in, right? And so I recently read this article on the Huffington Post that talks about the rising billion of new consumers that will arrive online by 2020. And so the next few years are gonna be so significant, and there's so much opportunity for us to grow our businesses, grow our influence, and make a greater impact online. And the article says this, that the most dramatic positive change in our global economy is about to occur between now and 2020, that 3 to 5 billion new people are about to come online, and the author of this article predicts that it's going to cause the greatest surge of economic growth to the global economy, really, that we may have ever seen. And so we already know that the internet's blowing up, social media is blowing up. These are awesome tools to be growing our influence and income, growing our businesses, but it's just starting. And I want to encourage you that if maybe you feel like you're late to the party, or you're not really sure what's happening yet, or whatever, that there's still so much opportunity. I was at another event called VidCon recently, talking with a few different creators, and someone said, you know, I was talking about YouTube. Do you think that the ship has sailed already for YouTube? And another creator that I respect, I was standing next to, he said, sailed? The ship isn't even fully built yet. The ship hasn't even left the harbor. And I really agree with that. I think that these platforms are still so young. Yes, there's competition. Yes, there's a lot of people doing it, but yes, there's a ton of opportunity. And Social Media Examiner said that this year, video is people's content format of choice. So I'm passionate about audio, podcasts, blogging, photos, Instagram, but across the board, when people are looking for content, they want to find video, right? Let me ask you, do you, when you're searching, do you like to go read like a blog article about how to do something, or do you sometimes want to actually just find a video about how to do something? Raise your hand if you want to find the video. Raise your hand if you actually like the blog. If you like the blog, you still like the blog? Yeah, so both are relevant, but generally the majority of people are interested in video. And then Mark Zuckerberg, CEO of Facebook, said this, that by 2019, the majority of Facebook is going to be video. So right now, of course, there's tons of text, there's photos, there's all these different posts, but video is gonna be taking over, and that's what they're preparing for. That's how they're building Facebook. Cisco said that 80% of the consumer internet is gonna be video by 2019. And so video is really taking over. And I love this quote from social media expert Gary Vaynerchuk, and it says that the single most important strategy in content marketing today is video. So video is a huge deal, and if you want, of course, to be relevant and make an impact as a business owner of any kind, you definitely want to be using video. But this is one of the questions I hear the most, like, isn't video expensive though? Isn't it, too expensive to get into? Isn't it hard to kind of produce, and you need all these different tools? And my answer to that question is actually, yes. Yes, it is. In 1978. This is a picture of George Lucas on the set of Star Wars, and that Panavision camera right there In that year, you could have picked one of those up for yourself at the budget price of $625,000. And that camera could have been yours, and you could have started shooting some beautiful video content in 1978. But when people say, is video expensive today? The answer is it really isn't. It's more accessible than ever before. And the smartphone that you have on your desk or in your pocket or in your bag can actually produce better quality video than some of the film cameras that great films were made on years ago. It's amazing what your phone can do. In fact, your phone is a photography studio. It's not only a camera, it's a video camera. It's a video editing processor. It can be your audio recorder. It can be a music studio. It could be your production planner, scheduling out shots or ideas, and it can do so much more. And every single one of us really has access to our smartphone. And so first of all today, as we're talking about really how to start creating video that can really grow our influence for our businesses, I just want to talk about 4 keys to creating great video on any budget. And this is my 4-step formula, C plus AVL. Now we'll get to C in just a second, but we're going to start with AVL. And I just want to ask, and then I also want to share some cool tools with you guys. Would that be okay? Awesome. Let's dive into it. And so AVL stands for audio, video, lighting. And so when we're talking about video, let's just simplify it. Let's break it down into its rawest components of actually what goes in to creating video. And these are the 3 elements that you should ask yourself about in any situation before shooting video, even if all you're using is your smartphone. Even if you're about to shoot somebody, you hand your phone, you're about to create some content to walk people through your business or to shoot some kind of content for your business. These are the 3 questions you want to ask. Number 1, level up your audio. How can you start making better video? Start by actually improving the audio. What I've found is that people will actually tolerate low video quality, like maybe it doesn't look the best or even the lighting is not the best, but if it sounds bad, people will bounce off that video right away. Have you noticed this? If there's a hiss or there's an echo in the room or you can't really hear the person, you might even be interested in the content. But if it doesn't have good audio and it's incomprehensible or it just sounds noisy, it's distracting. And so the first thing you want to think about is your audio, but this doesn't have to be complex. Just consider your surroundings. If you're ever going to create some video, consider maybe shooting in a smaller room without high ceilings, without echo like this, versus shooting next to an airport tarmac, right? Or versus shooting next to an air conditioning unit. Just consider your surroundings no matter what camera you're using. Also, project your voice. Now, if you're gonna be the person that's on video, one of the best ways to start having better audio is actually to just work on projecting your voice. In fact, we use some expensive microphones, and we do a lot of interviews with people, and we found that even sometimes the best microphone, if someone is soft-spoken, it could be very challenging to get the message across that you want to get across. So by projecting your voice, just using a point-and-shoot camera or your smartphone, you're going to get a lot better results. And then the next thing you could do, of course, is purchase a budget microphone. And what's so cool, this session's all about how to produce video on a budget, is it doesn't have to break the bank. And so this Pop Voice microphone is on Amazon.com. It'll plug into your smartphone, and it costs $12.99. And one note, if you're ever looking for a microphone for a smartphone, is you want to have 3 prongs on it, not 2. And so if you ever look at a headphone jack, a lot of times it has 2. That's just for hearing the music. That 3rd little ring, that'll be on like your ear pods, and that's how the microphone on iPhone earpods works, will make it work in a smartphone. But if you just make sure that the microphone is like a smartphone compatible microphone, $12, and now you've got this HD camera in your pocket in your smartphone, and you have this great audio that you could just hook to your shirt, or you could use something like the Rode VideoMic Me. It's about $70, but what's great about that, it's a little shotgun mic. It's now going to cancel out all the ambient noise around it and just get the audio that's directly in front of the mic. And this is great if there's more than one person on camera. And a couple tools that are super cool. Second thing is level up your video. Level up your video. So definitely recommend to be shooting in HD. I think that's the new standard. And again, this is just commonplace on basically every smartphone today, every point and shoot, every DSLR. Second is invest in stabilization. Have you ever seen a video that you almost made you dizzy, kind of like you got a little uncomfortable because it was so shaky? Raise your hand if you've ever seen that. Yeah, everybody. But why? Because sometimes when you hold it, some cameras don't have image stabilization. And so what I mean by that is simply invest in just a tripod. If you really want, video is just a medium of communication. So if you want to get the message across, what we're trying to do here is eliminate distractions, right? And so it's distracting if the video is really shaky. And so just invest in stabilization, and then also consider a wide angle lens. I don't know if you've ever noticed, but sometimes if you use your smartphone to film yourself, you're like, why is that just my nose? Like, why am I not, why is it so close to my face? And so you can just clip on a little wide angle lens that'll give you a wider shot, and maybe two if you're gonna put somebody else in the frame. And so this is one of my favorite tripods. It's by Arkon. It'll go on your desk. It's about 11 inches. And this is a $20 tripod that is on Amazon. And you can wrap those legs around a railing. You could set those on a desk. And then the phone mount is actually detachable. So if you already had a tripod that's taller, you can just put that phone mount on another tripod and you're good to go. Just $20. Guys, it's so easy to create video, great video on a budget these days. And so that's a great tool. And then I use this lens kit. I actually don't need all 5-in-1 lenses personally, but inside of that CamKix lens kit, that's about $20 as well. All this stuff's on Amazon. I actually have a download if you want to see a checklist of all the stuff I recommend. We'll get to that in a sec. But this CamKix lens just clips right on your phone, and now it's a little bit wider so you can get more people in the frame and whatever else you want to do. And then number three. So let's be a little participation here. Let's everybody say A. The energy. I'm inspired. Everybody say V. And then say L. All right, so you can, and so that's AVL, and that's what you always want to think about. Whatever tools you have at your disposal, this is like literally a framework. Okay, like what's the lighting like? What's the sound like? What's the video gonna be like? AVL. Third one is your lighting. So for your lighting, again, even if you don't have lighting, here's some free hacks for that. Shoot during the day, right? Another tip there would be shoot in the shade. One thing that is never favorable to video is direct sunlight. And so one of the worst times to shoot is in the middle of the day in direct sun in Utah when it's 100 degrees. I'm from Las Vegas, so it's 115, and so we're not shooting outside anyways during that time. But shoot during the day because you want a lot of light. Every video camera requires light. And actually, a lot of times people say, hey, Sean, what camera should I buy? What camera should I upgrade to? And usually I recommend people invest in lighting before they invest in a new camera. Because if you add lighting to a bad camera, it'll look great. But even if you don't have lighting, even on a great camera, it won't necessarily look great. Lighting is the key to good video. So turn on the lights in your house, turn on the lights, and one of the things that I know, we're at CBX, right? So a lot of vloggers here, or some, will actually, when they really get established at vloggers, they might actually upgrade all the bulbs in their house because they vlog everywhere in their house, because they just realize we're shooting everywhere. More light, the better, especially at night at different times. So just turn on the lights, whatever lights you have in your house. If you get more light, it's gonna make the video look a lot better. Record during a window. If this was the window during the day, the light would be coming in. So a lot of times I will take that little tripod, I will set it on a desk right in front of a window, and I'll do maybe a Facebook Live or some kind of a live stream or video content, just having the camera pointing at me, and then I sit there and I talk, and the window is a giant softbox. It's like a giant light, it just looks beautiful, and those are all free. And then the other thing you do is invest in like a budget lighting kit. And again, this is probably one of the best way to spend your money to improve your lighting. And there's a StudioPRO lighting kit on Amazon, a couple different levels of it, but even just for about $100, you can make a huge impact in your video quality. This Limo Studio one is a little bit not as bright, but it's $70, I think right now on Amazon. So level up your lighting, right? AVL. And if you want to grab this, I just put all that stuff in some of my other tools. And that's actually the way I'll set it up. I actually don't use this giant lens anymore, but it's kind of cool too. So you can see it's like a wide angle lens. I've got my phone there on that Arkon tripod, and I've got the lapel mic plugged into the phone. Yeah?
How important is your battery problems? I find that my phone can't keep up with my other cameras.
Great question. How important is your battery problems? I plug it in when I'm shooting. And if you got an iPhone 7 and your Fire port, is also your mic port, it gets a little more complex, but there's ways around that. There's a couple like cases that give you a port and a mic jack. But yeah, so that allows me to have it plugged in the entire time. And another thing you can grab off Amazon is like a 10-foot power cord or longer for your smartphone, and that way you're going to be powered up the entire time. But anyways, phonegearguide.com, and all that gear is listed out. So C plus AVL. So we just talked about AVL. This is the formula for just making sure we're having great video. But now let's talk about C. And C stands for the content. C stands for the content. At the end of the day, the content is what matters most. The AVL is never going to if you have great audio, great video, and great lighting, but the content is not great, then it's not going to work. It's not going to make an impact. It's not going to drive the results that you want to drive for your business. But if this part is bad, well, then you're not going to be able to understand the content. Sometimes we want to shoot comedy on YouTube or comedy on Facebook, and again, the content is the joke. The content's what's being presented. But if you can't hear it, see it, or it's shaky, well, then you're going to lose, right? But the content is what matters most. And I always like to say this, that content value is significantly more important than your production value. And we all know this, right? We know this because there's been plenty of YouTubers or social media stars with just webcams or just point and shoot cameras or just their smartphone that have created a huge impact, even business owners, because it's the content value that matters most more than the production value. And so let's talk about 4 practical ways to use online video to grow your business right now. And also, like I said, if you have any questions, particularly about your particular business, like specific situation, I think that's where the magic will happen in this session, because we can contextualize what this could actually look like in the real world to drive big results for your business. But here's 4 things. If you ask me, Sean, what would you do right now to grow your business? What would you be focusing on? These are the top 4 things that I'd be focusing on. The first one is Facebook Live, actually. The first one I'd be focusing on is Facebook Live. Has anybody done Facebook Live yet? Raise your hand. Hi. Awesome. So about half the room has done Facebook Live before. That's great. And so you've got a little bit of experience with that. One of the reasons why I love Facebook Live is because Facebook prioritizes video on Facebook, and they prioritize live video even more right now. And so that means you're showing up in people's news feed. It's more shareable. There's a lot of things that you can do there. And so recently, and an interesting way to use Facebook Live is I recently shot this video. I was on the beach, and I actually used Facebook Live just to create a video. And so what I mean is this video was 1.5 minutes long, and the goal of this video, every video that you have should have a mission. Like, you should never just post something online if you didn't have like a mission for it. But the goal of this video was just to stay top of mind. It was just to have like a message to my current audience, because I don't want them to forget about me. So I just wanted to get something out there. So it's just like a quick kind of like a motivational message. And it only went for 1.5 minutes, and here's why. I didn't want to shoot a video on my phone and then try to upload it and then all this stuff. I wanted to shoot the video right then and have a video that was up, and that'll be 720p if you've got a good LTE connection. And then you have a video that's done, and the video got 1,100 reach and then 3,100 views, and then I boosted it for $15. And so we'll talk a little bit about that. Has anyone used Facebook ads yet? Raise your hand. Facebook ads? Great, awesome. So you're already using Facebook ads, so you can see it. You can see the engagement on it and whatnot. And so this is such a simple, quick, and easy way to get video content out to your audience, to your Facebook fan page, and also to potentially reach new people, where this actually wasn't the goal of this, though. It was internal. So when I boosted it, I just boosted it to my own fan page likes. And so a couple of quick Facebook Live ideas and really video ideas for business is, one, you could show off a product, right? You might have a product, you want to show it off, just show how it works. I think that one of the biggest things that holds us back is overthinking this. You know, again, you got some good audio, you got some good lighting, it sounds all right, and so just show off the product. Hey, this is out now. Our new shirts are out. This is what they look like. This is how they fit. People want to see video, right? It's people's preferred content format of choice. The second thing you do is you could show off a location. We just went to a kind of cool breakfast spot here in Salt Lake City this morning, and it'd be really easy to say, hey, here's our location. It's right here off of whatever street in this cross street. Come on in and we'll show you. We just added some new things to the menu, and you could just create video content showing where you are, maybe giving people a walkthrough. You could give a product tutorial. How does your product work? Simply just explaining the steps, showing what it is. You could do FAQs. What are the top 10 to 30 questions that are relevant for your business and brand? In fact, write that down. You don't have to write all the questions down right now, but you probably could, right? You know the questions that you get the most. There's so much power in those frequently asked questions. And so now that's video ideas for you. You could do a Q&A with your audience. You could highlight fans and customers. Whenever you have the opportunity to pull out your phone and shoot a testimonial, somebody that loves you, loves your product, is a fan of your stuff, whatever it is, do it. That's video content that you can then share. You can give away coupon codes. Hey guys, we're here, we just launched this. So many different ways to go on Facebook Live, and that's kind of just a quick hack. We could do it right now. We go live, we end it, we're done, and that video is living on Facebook, and there's a lot of things we could do afterwards to boost how many people see it and things like that. The second thing I would be focusing on the most right now if I want to grow my business this year and in the years to come is Facebook ads. And maybe you came to this session and thought, I don't know what you thought coming to this session, but this is like real business. This is what I'd be focusing on. Not necessarily YouTube, we'll talk about that in a second as much, but for businesses, this is where it's at. Many agree that Facebook ads are the greatest advertising solution in human history. What? Like, who can even say that? Like, talk about the most hype-filled, outrageous statement, but it's true, and I actually agree with that. That never has there been a better tool with almost 2 billion active, with a B, 2 billion active users on Facebook. That means your ideal fans, customers, audience are there. And Facebook has a scary amount of data about you and me. It's terrifying. They know, they work with credit card companies, so they know your spending habits. They know what pages, of course, you like. They know a lot about your age. They know a lot about your family dynamics. They know if you're in a relationship or if you just left a relationship. They know if you're a mom. They know if you're married. And they're analyzing even what you post to create massive data about you. And for some, that's scary. For businesses and marketers, that's awesome. Because what it means is that we no longer have to have a shotgun approach to reaching our ideal audience, now that we can be very specific to only really get in front of the people that would care. And in old school marketing, it was very much a shotgun approach. Like, let's just throw up a billboard and just hope that some of the people that go past it are interested and maybe come and check out what we're doing. We now have the opportunity to show right up in front of people, right where they are most of their day, on their smartphones, on their desktops, on their tablets, on their computers. And video ads are among the most powerful Facebook ad formats for generating user engagement. So if I'm a business owner in the year we're living in, I'm creating a compelling video, good AVL, but some good content that is going to have a mission and a message that is for my target audience. I am putting it on Facebook, and I am doing Facebook ads so that the right people see that, and I'm ultimately going to be spending as much money as I possibly can until it gets too crowded, saturated, and maybe it's the next advertising platform. Right now, if we spend about $1 on Facebook ads, we return anywhere from $2 to $4. Let me ask you, if you could give somebody $1 right now and they would give you $2 back, what would be your limit of doing that? Like, how much would you do? $100? $1,000? I love it. All of it. You would just keep going, right? Like, once you dial that in, once the video's working and you're getting the engagement, and maybe there's some experimentation, there certainly is some experimentation and there's testing, And sometimes people say, I tried it once, it didn't work. Well, you know, like that's true about anything. It'd be like the first time I tried to ride my bike, I won't even forget. I grew up in North Seattle, and I remember I had the training wheels phase, loved that phase. And then my stepdad, Phil, one day he's like, we're taking the training wheels off. And I remember he's like going, and he said, I'm gonna hold the back of the seat. I said, you better hold the back of the seat. He's like, I'm gonna hold the back. I'm like, you better. And he's like, all right. And then I'm going. I go, are you holding it? And he's like, no, I let go. And then I got scared. And so boom, I crashed in the bushes, I tumbled, I got scraped up. And that's what happens, right? The first time we do anything is not necessarily a time where it's effective and when it works. And that's where I see a lot of people say, well, I tried Facebook ads, it didn't work. It is the greatest advertising solution in human history. And so if you want to grow your business or even grow as a personal brand, be thinking about Facebook ads, especially right now where there's so much opportunity on that platform. I just did a little test here because we're at CVX and just targeted 84101, which is the zip code that we're sitting in right now. And there's 34,452 targetable people on Facebook just in that region. That's without narrowing it down. What you could add to that is you could say 34,000, you could say that amount of people, I want to target that zip code, and people who like coffee. If you have a new coffee shop and you're not doing that, then you're missing out on like the age we're living in when it comes to digital marketing, social media, and advertising. And so definitely be focusing on Facebook ads. The third thing that I would be focusing on is searchable content on YouTube. YouTube is the second largest search engine in the world. We'll do questions in just a bit, so capture that. YouTube is the second largest search engine in the world. And so number one is Google, and number two is YouTube. And Google owns YouTube. And so you can, when you produce good YouTube content and it's optimized in a way that people can find it and for the terms they're searching for, you a lot of times can even get YouTube videos on the first page of Google, which is the holy grail of any business. Like that is the new real estate that people want and need for their business is showing up in search results. And YouTube is this great search engine, but because video can seem expensive or it can seem hard, and it certainly is, and getting on camera can, you know, there's that learning curve, all of that's real. There's a ton of opportunity on YouTube compared to Google because writing a blog post is generally easier. Ranking a website is generally building a website, hiring someone. Creating video content has a little more moving parts. And so there's a ton of opportunity to find searchable content on YouTube. And then Google owns YouTube, so videos appear for 55% of Google keyword searches. Cisco did a study that said videos are 53 times more likely to rank on the first page of Google. And so searchable content on YouTube. So here's an example in a business context. Years ago, I had a production company called Clear Vision Media. Around 2011, started in like 2010. And I did this video for a Mexican restaurant in a small town, Arlington, Marysville, Granite Falls. They had 3 locations, an hour north of Seattle. And so this video, as you can see, is from 2011. And there's this cool tool that I love for YouTube. It's called vidIQ. And you can get the free version. I use the Boost version. And it gives you this data. The way you get that data on your YouTube videos is you sign up for vidIQ, and then you also download the vidIQ Vision Google Chrome plugin in case you want all this data. It's really cool. It'll help you on YouTube. And it has this little stat up there that says 0.01 views per hour. So that adds up to 2.4 views a day and something like near 900 views a year. So this video is very specific. It doesn't, like, this is not like millions of views, we want to reach the world. This is like we want people to come to our local business. And if we could get up to 2 to 3 people a day to like check out what we're doing and come visit our local business for free, does that sound like a good idea? Like, that sounds great to me. And the video is, 6 years old, and it's still, this is a recent screenshot, so it's still getting those views. Why? Because of searchable content. People keep discovering the video, and the video only was made once, but yet it continues to produce results for this video. Let me also ask you, what would happen if they made a video every week? What would happen if they continued to put out content strategically? A lot of good things. At the time, They paid me $250 to make this video, put it on YouTube and rank it. And it's been working for them for years to come. Now, was that a good deal? Who wants that deal? Like, who wants only 3 people? All right, well, the discounts are, okay. So, right, so like local search. And number 4 is using video to drive sales. And so one of the other things that I would do, we're talking about 3 things. The first one would be Facebook Live and Facebook video. The second one would be Facebook ads. Third, I'd be creating searchable content on YouTube. And then fourth, use video to drive sales. And so one of the things that's also great about that video was they put it on their website. And even it's not as much of a search thing, but some stats that I think are important is online shoppers who view demo videos are 1.8 times more likely to make a purchase. 4x as many customers would rather watch a video about a product than read about a product. And I find myself as one of those customers where if I land on a website, I land in a new place. I'm here with Omar on my team. We haven't spent a lot of time in Salt Lake City. So last night we were like, where should we go eat? What should we go do? What's happening? And I loved looking at Yelp and reading some things, but you know what I love more is video. What's it gonna look like when I walk in? What can I maybe expect? What can I experience? And so having just a video showing off your product, showing off what it is you do, embedded on your website, which is what that Mexican restaurant did as well, is very, very powerful. So use video to drive sales. And so one kind of case study of how I fell into this trap of great marketing was just the other day. I was on this website called massdrop.com. I've never made a purchase from this site before, but it's kind of like, you know how people get into sneakers and they'll like camp out at like a Nike to get like the latest pair of sneakers? Well, for me, that's kind of audio. I love music. I love, headphones and what you'd call audiophile gear. And so I was on this site and I was like, this is pretty cool, but like $200, like even though they were 500 and that's a good sale, I mean, that's still 200, I don't know. So I kept reading down the site. I was looking at the pictures. The copy on the site was like building up my excitement a little, but I was just kind of checking it out. I was on the email list of MassDrop. But then I got to the bottom of the page, and sure enough, there was a video at the bottom of the page from someone who I'm familiar with, but not necessarily someone that not somebody I follow. And this guy's like the leading audiophile reviewer, tech guy online. And so I watched this video, and 7 minutes later, I'm adding these to cart and I'm making the purchase and I'm telling my wife, hey babe, I think I just bought my Christmas present. Because actually I don't even get these until December 16th. So I was like, hey Sonia, I got my thing. So, but what happened? Well, I wouldn't have actually bought them until a couple things. One, I saw the video and I really saw them hands-on. And that's what people want to see, right? We need to see, we want to, especially with online shopping. Like if you're not in the store, you're not able to touch it and feel it and necessarily try it on. But then the other thing was his expertise and description of what these headphones were in relation to other headphones. Even though I didn't know much about him, I could tell he knew what he was talking about. And so a power tip here is the power of influencer marketing. And I'm sure you've heard the term. Many people at CVX, of course, are in that space and maybe are even here looking for influencers to work with. But what's interesting about influencer marketing, if you're new to that term, is it just simply means like working with an influencer to get the word out about your product. So if you're an Instagram influencer and you're a clothing company, then you may be paid and send free clothes and give money to those Instagram influencers so they wear your clothes, etc. But I want to expand the definition of that to also say that for your business, I encourage you to just work with experts. Because maybe nobody at MassDrop could have done what he did, but the reason I bought him was actually not because I was like, this is my favorite guy, I follow him on Instagram, oh my goodness, but it was because he just knew what he was talking about. Because he had authority and you could see it was backed up because he gave me the comparisons. So ask yourself, who could you work with to build the influence of your business? Who could you collab with? And it might be very easy and even affordable or even free to work with influencers around your product, your topic, your brand, whatever it is that you're doing. And so those were, we talked about C plus AVL. So always remember, how's the lighting? How's our audio? How's our video? but what's the content? Like, what's the message that we want to convey? And then we talked about 4 things that I'd be focusing on today if I was wanting to build my business with online video. But one of the biggest takeaways that I want to leave you with, and then let's do Q&A, and I would love to get into actual case studies of what you're going through, is done is better than perfect. Done is better than perfect. If there's anything I've seen paralyze more people when it comes to video, it's perfectionism. And I've had to battle through that myself as well. I think we think that, you know, we have a brand to uphold, and we do, and we have a certain level of quality that we have to uphold, and we do. But what I've also seen paralyze a lot of businesses is they sometimes set that. So they hire a company and they spend a couple grand to produce one video that looks amazing, and then they're dark the rest of the year because they're like, we can't even sustain that. You know, it'd be a lot better? Consistent weekly content that's good, but it's not perfect. It's just conveying the message. People are way less concerned with if things are fancy and if they look fancy. They just want the actual information. Like, what is it you're trying to do? What problem are you solving? How are you actually helping people? So I want to encourage you that done is better than perfect, to dive into video, to use your smartphone a lot more, to go on Facebook Live a lot more, to tap into online video on Instagram, Stories, Snapchat, whatever platforms are relevant for your business, YouTube, Facebook Live, because there's so much opportunity, and no one piece of content is going to destroy your brand. But you know what will destroy your brand? You not being on those platforms, and you not being top of mind in the market, and you not being top of mind even for your customers. There's a lot of competitors, right? All massive opportunity also means that there is massive competition. So stay active, done is better than perfect, and use video. And let's dive into Q&A, but I also have a resource too, just in case. We talked about number 3, and that's really, YouTube is my personal favorite and something I use a lot. It's not necessarily the best for every video, but if you're curious specifically about, well, you said get your videos to like show up in search, this is the checklist that I use every time I upload a video, so I don't miss a step. Okay, make sure the title is right, make sure, and there's about 17 steps that I go through, make sure the thumbnail is uploaded, make sure everything. So if you want to grab that free YouTube checklist so that your videos can rank in search, and that you get more views, get more subscribers, get more awareness to your product and your business, and that's at tubechecklist.com. Okay, so I hope that you found that training super valuable. And if you do want to grab my personal YouTube checklist, you can grab that for free at tubechecklist.com. We'll link it up in the YouTube description as well and on the YouTube card. Question of the day: how are you using video right now? Have you already started? What platforms are you using? Facebook Live, Facebook Video, YouTube? Let me know in the comments section below. So thanks for checking out this video. Definitely subscribe for more videos just like this. And to check out other videos in our YouTube strategy series, you can just click right here, or another video from Think Media, you can just click right here. And if you want to grab that tube checklist, you can click right here or in the YouTube description. Until next time, Think Media is bringing you the best tips and tools for building your influence with online video. Keep crushing it, and we will talk soon.